They find the Necronomicon, but Freddy uses his powers to animate the robot that translated the book into a killing machine, Ash and Tina managing to destroy it to get that action scene out of the way. The Deadites soon swarm out of the facility, killing and slashing along the way, while Tommy Jarvis narrates about the whole thing, explaining how Jason's mother originally used the Necronomicon to resurrect him. In the city, Jason spots a random homeless man and tosses his machete at him, but misses. "You had your chance, Jason. You had your chance and you blew it!" And the homeless man is revealed to be Tommy wearing a disguise! Yeah, no idea why the hell he was just disguised as a random homeless guy. Maybe that was a bit that was cut from when this was 12 issues. He then also takes out 2 machine guns and fires them in random directions instead of at the guy he's actually trying to hit. Some winged demons arrive and pick up Tommy, carrying him off. Back at the motel, Jacob and Stephanie were left behind for their own safety, and apparently the artist asked, "Hey, how old are these two supposed to be again? Especially Stephanie?" They're probably adults now, so here she is in a sheer dress that's basically naked anyway, and Stephanie tries to seduce Jacob because this is actually a dream. And then Dream Stephanie uses hair powers to restrain Jacob and, speaking with Freddy's voice, plans to drink up that special survivor power inside you. Okay, does Jacob really count as a survivor in this context? Freddy was using Jacob's unborn dreams to attack people even when they were awake. A plan that required Jacob to not be dead. There is no special power here. He was a tool of Freddy. And then there's a session of Congress where the representatives are yelling at each other before Jason and the Deadites swarm in and murder everyone. And I'm sure I'd have something pithy to say about it, but I'm too distracted by the next page and Alice's massive giraffe neck. Alice hears Jacob's call for help and uses her Dream Master powers to transport themselves into his dream, where a very naked Stephanie is holding Jacob prisoner with ropes now, at least until she rips her skin off and reveals herself as Freddy, although she apparently did get skinned by him and she's somehow still alive. I'm just gonna replay this clip from 2 weeks ago. Wow, this sure is a great Hellraiser comic. Ash throws some random CDs at Freddy, and, again like Hellraiser, the third one to be exact, they're apparently razor sharp and slice into his face. Freddy decides to stop this and take Jacob with him. "I could kill you all right now, but I need you for something special I have in mind." So, you're an idiot. Also, we never find out what that something special is. He takes Jacob away and tells them to come to the White House. Then again, since he can apparently magic people away like this in a dream, why not just teleport them all there right away? They put Stephanie's skin back on her, reasoning that they're in her dream now and hoping that Alice's Dream Master powers will help stabilize her once they wake up. Once they do wake up, Tina comforts Stephanie while Ash notes that Alice isn't looking too good. "I'm sick, Ash. Using the dream powers comes with a high price." And we never learn what that price is. No, seriously, what the Dream Master powers do that makes her sick is never explained. Probably would have been a thing if this had been 12 issues, but instead it's just pointless filler. So anyway, after a limp parody of George W. Bush, as a reminder, the first issue came out in August of 2009, so you can imagine doing one in issue 4, which came out in November of that year, was scraping the bottom of the barrel a bit. Our heroes rally in the face of such terrible humor, Ash giving his own little inspiring speech to the 3 women and their tiny necks and inconsistent hairstyles and 22 brides-esque physiques, and God, the artwork sucks in this! Anyway, they go out into the city and raid a pawn shop for supplies, which apparently includes chainsaws, shotguns, handguns the size of Alice's friggin' head, and swords half the full length of Tina's body. Ending issue 4. Issue 5 begins with the sky raining blood, a pretty good sign in any horror story that things have gotten real, but the effect is badly implemented since it doesn't look like the raining blood is actually affecting anyone. While Ash and Alice argue and bicker, Stephanie continues to freak out until she just straight up disappears while staring at a puddle of blood. The US Army arrives to confront the army of Deadites at the White House, providing a distraction for Ash and company to join the fight and make their way into the place. We We do admittedly have a good moment here. Not the best drawn, but definitely cool in concept at least. Ash liberates a tank from some deadites who were killing the people inside, and has Tina telekinetically lift the tank so it can be dropped on the White House. Don't get me wrong, this comic is still terrible, but I really do appreciate that some of the thinking outside the box included absolutely awesome ideas like that. Stephanie, apparently having gone into a dream, heads into some kind of dream church where Jason grabs her. Freddy, knowing that Stephanie is related to Jason, decides to unlock the unstoppable killer inside of her, as if being a serial killer like Jason was some kind of genetic trait, even though we've seen other members of the family who weren't serial killers. Plus, it was this very comic that reinforced the fact that Jason didn't become like he is until his mom used the Necronomicon on him. But no, that just makes her and her extraordinarily tiny shorts kill Dream Freddy and have her put on a hockey mask so she can go kill Jason herself. Because Freddy wants her to kill Jason now. Remember when plot points had to be set up or character rationales followed from logical standpoints? Yeah, those were good times. Freddy taunts Tommy Jarvis, saying he's going to absorb his special survivor soul. So, do all serial killer survivors have special powers in their souls, or is this limited to slasher killer survivors? Jason tosses Freddy aside because apparently he wants him for himself, but this just leads to a fight between Jason and Maggie where she calls him a pussy. The other writer, James Kuhorik, said that it was important for them to stay true to the voices of the characters, that he can't stand picking up any book where it reads like the writer didn't watch the show. Can't imagine why I'd be thinking about that right now. After Jason tosses her around some, Freddy admits that he planned on killing her anyway. Because why not just admit that while she's still in the room? Why not make your villain a moron at this point? Who the hell even cares? Oh, and then the tank lands on Maggie and kills her. Thank God for that important plot point of her turning evil. It really added a lot to this epic crossover. Jeez, I don't even care that Ash shoots Freddy with a tank. It's just depressing at this point. Oh, and it gets better. Once outside, we get this lovely foreshortening with Alice pointing guns at Freddy. Instead of shooting him, though, he makes a little speech about how nobody can kill him. And she admits she's sick and dying of plot disease and plans to pass on her dream powers. Just letting Freddy stab her while she transfers the Dream Master powers to Jacob. Another thing Jeff Katz said, that this is a love letter to these characters, as well as to the survivors we've come to know and love over the years. And there's no better expression of love to survivors than by murdering them all in profoundly stupid ways. But yeah, issue 5 ends with Jacob using his Dream Master powers to summon the spirits of the Dream Warriors from part 3, and good God, this artwork! It's like everyone but Kincaid was run through a pasta strainer. Even Amanda Kruger is throwing up her arms and going, what is even going on here? Also, I should note, how the hell does Jacob know who these people are? Anyway, issue 6 has somewhat better artwork. The credits only list Jason Craig as the artist for this issue, but I've got to imagine that other people worked on the pencils. There's just such a disconnect in the style on some pages. Very first panel, great shot of Jacob with Amanda Kruger hovering over him. 2 pages later, back to stretchy face. Anyway, using the Dream Master powers, the ghosts of the Dream Warriors destroy the remaining Deadites, who have all decided to line up in formation for some reason. But Freddy goes in and stabs Jacob. Tommy goes off to kill Jason, while Ash goes to help the others against Freddy, and man, does Ash get the shaft in this crossover. No, seriously, he's barely done anything in this story. Look, it was a cool idea to unite all the survivors, but their names aren't in the title of the damn book. Maybe give more focus to that guy. I honestly wouldn't have as much of an issue with that if this had been called just Freddy vs. Jason, the Nightmare Warriors, but billing this as a sequel to Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash implies he's more of a focus character. Instead, he ends up sharing so much screen time with the other survivors. Plus, Freddy dominates so much of the story as the main antagonist that it's really his book, and Jason's just his right-hand man through most of it. Oh, and here's a fun bit. Tommy manages to beat Jason up with a rock to the point that his mask gets smashed. And before he can deliver the final blow, Jason finally talks. You die! Pure poetry. Jacob's bleeding to death and Tina wants to get him to a hospital when all of a sudden Neil Gordon decides to show up and wonder where they're going. I'm guessing he came back because of Jacob summoning the ghosts and all. Since last we saw him, he was killed by Maggie. But more irritatingly, I didn't even realize this was Neil until later in this bit. I thought he was Agent Carter because the two are dressed the same way, and Agent Carter will be making a brief appearance in a minute, also right out of nowhere. Ash just shoves the Necronomicon in his arms and tells him to read the passages to send Krueger to hell. He goes to distract Freddy while Neil learns how to read the passages thanks to the arrival of Ghost Nancy. Stephanie then shows up and stabs Jason, saving Tommy. Jason says his final words as he hears his mother's voice. Mommy! Wow, finally getting to hear Jason speak some profound words of wisdom. It touches me right here. Makes this whole thing worth it. Jason backhands Stephanie, and Tommy cuts Jason's head off. Jason Voorhees is dead! Dude, we've had 2 movies in his franchise profess that it's the end for him, and neither stuck. Killing Jason is like killing Optimus Prime. He's just gonna be back in 6 months. With Nancy's help, Neil uses the Klaatu, Varata, Nikto phrase to summon another vortex to suck in all the Deadites. You know, the Day the Earth Stood Still reference was cute the first time you did it, but the writers of the Evil Dead franchise keep going back to the same ones over and over again. Why don't they ever reference any other science fiction series? Why aren't the magic words ever Ba Weep, Grana Weep, Ninny Bong? And yes, I know that's 2 Transformers references close together. I'm thinking of other things that are better than this comic right now. The Vortex isn't strong enough to pull in Freddy, but it does pull in Agent Carter. Again, he was just standing nearby for some reason. Does he even count as a character? After he rants about being a dream god, the Necronomicon flies up to Freddy and I guess the 3 dream demons who gave him his powers in the 6th movie decide to revoke his power for some reason? Or maybe it was just the Necronomicon itself? Whatever, he's human again. He tries to appeal to Ash's humanity. They took my kid. They took her and then went after me. You don't know what they did to me. I didn't want to be this way. I wanted to be good. I just wanted to be loved. Ash, however, does not buy that bullcrap. Don't play that after-school special with me. I had to cut up my girlfriend with a chainsaw. Does that sound like a freaking storybook ending to you? I mean, the original Grimm's fairy tales were pretty gruesome, so... He blasts him with the shotgun. You want forgiveness for what you've done, Krueger? Ask the kids you killed for it. When you get to hell. I mean, I'm assuming hell has a forwarding address to them. I'm not implying that the kids are in hell, too. I just, this is my boomstick! Things settle down in the capital, and it's not explained whether or not the effects of all this were reversed, or if anyone doesn't remember the literal army of demons marching in Washington, D.C. Tina gives Ash a farewell kiss, since Ash has decided he wants to get lost somewhere big. Maybe I'll try Texas. I hear Texas really likes its chainsaws. Ash tells Tommy he needs to use this as an opportunity for a fresh start, help Jacob and Stephanie recover from this ordeal while letting the past stay buried. And so our comic ends in Springwood in 1964. Agent Carter suddenly wakes up at a desk where the arrest warrant for Freddy Krueger is in front of him. Only just barely questioning how the hell he traveled through time to this moment, he signs the warrant, which I guess is supposed to imply that the entire franchise has now been undone because screw you, audience! In case I hadn't made it clear, this comic sucks! The idea of uniting the survivors is not a bad one. Horror fans love the continuity of these movies, when they bother to have it at least, and the idea of seeing these beloved characters interacting is a great one. But they don't do anything with it. The only people who are still survivors of the movies at the end are Tina and Tommy. Jacob and Stephanie barely count because of how young they were in their movies. They have no personalities in those. They might as well be new characters altogether for the comic to do whatever the hell it wants with them. As for the rest, there is nothing for them to do. Sure, occasionally they use some special powers, but that's it. They're just there. It's like in Future's End, where they expected the sheer fact of someone's presence to be enough to make it good. It's not. There's too much plot, too many characters, and no one has a satisfying arc as a result. Let's not even get into the betrayal of Maggie's character, turned evil for no good reason and killed unceremoniously. That last page is a friggin' farce. What's even the point? You're basically saying that this story, and none of the movies before it, even mattered!
We hope you've enjoyed No Moral Theater, ladies and gentlemen.
I do find it kind of amusing that that ending is even there, because as I said last year, I read a bunch of other early scripts for Freddy vs. Jason. And a character traveling back in time and doing the proper paperwork to get Freddy Krueger arrested was actually from one of those. And it was just as stupid there! Speaking of Freddy, you know what a problem is with both this book and the original Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash? For all the discussion we give about Freddy being the slasher killer who talks, he talks way too much in these things. Why do we keep needing to cut back to him expositing about his plans? Why does he give long, protracted speeches? One-liners are his thing, not monologues. Making Fred Krueger go from sadistic murder demon to would-be world conqueror is an awful idea that, while epic in scope, is not what we want out of the villain. The artwork is mostly atrocious. Some bits of competence, but a lot of the time rushed and inconsistent, with body proportions all over the place and fight scenes that lack any kind of tension or excitement aside from Jason's battle with the government agents at the beginning. Maybe this book would have been better if it had been the 12 issues they wanted, but somehow I doubt it. Next time, it is finally the 10th anniversary. See you then. Linkara, above all else, I want to apologize to you about all this. It was wrong of me to create clones of you. It was wrong of me to erase your memories of it. I was wrong. I was wrong. I don't know if I could ever make it up to you, but... well, I understand if you don't want to associate with me anymore after this. I appreciate that. I really do. Maybe we really do need a little more forgiveness around here, a little bit more compassion than hatred, but it's just... ah! Good! Maybe some answers! What is it? I've been having my computers run a more thorough examination on the data I obtained when I scanned the clone. Hopefully, there's something there that a cursory scan wouldn't have... oh no. What? What is it? I didn't see it before. I never studied the phenomena beyond reading the initial reports. Dude, what's wrong? The clone. I know what it is now. What? Why now? Comicron 1 lost half of its database, including most of the sensor reports. I wasn't able to cross-check anything. The energy signature in his cells. I have seen it before. Where? The plot hole.
Hey, Linkara?
No, no, never him. Not him.
The clone?
Clone, copy, replica, mass-produced. Oh, but I'm not. I'm one of a kind. Or I was. No! I'm so much more.
Are you okay?
I am most certainly not okay. I remember everything now.
What do you remember?
It fixed me. It fixed me. But it got me wrong. Don't you understand? It got me wrong!
Oh my god!
I tried to cut it off of me, but it just keeps stinking and sweating and bleeding. I hate this face. Am I doomed to it forever now? What's one mission? I came here for just one mission, and I have been stuck here for almost 10 years! I have died so many times. No! This was the final time, for clearly I have arrived in hell.
Are you?
I am the one they call Mecha